Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Black with only the Gen 5 Elemental Monkeys was brutally long, so let's keep this streak of hard ones going. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only one Phanpy. Phanpy is a weak ground-type Pokemon with pretty underwhelming stats, about on par with first form starters. What makes this brutal is that Hoenn is a pretty hard place for ground types, considering just how many water-type Pokemon there are, and that the Pokemon champion is a water trainer. As far as moves go, Phanpy learns absolutely no ground moves by level up, so we won't be getting the same type attack bonus for a very long time. The only ground move that we'll get is Earthquake, and that's not going to be until we're 7 gyms into the game. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with a challenge, so if this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm going to say this might be possible at level 100 if I can one-shot enough with Earthquake, but I could totally see myself being completely unable to beat Wallace's water team. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Phanpy. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Mudkip with Phanpy so that we can do the whole run with it. I replaced Mudkip so that my rival would use Trico, the one I predict to be the hardest for us to fight. I name him Spud, because this is an underdog story. Our nature is adamant, so more attack and less special attack. Considering we literally can't learn any moves that use special attack, this nature is perfect. Our abilities pick up, a kind of useful ability where we pick up random items after battle, but it requires that I not be holding anything for it to work, so it's more useful on side Pokemon than my main one. But I'm sure I could get something useful out of this. Unfortunately, we can't get the TM for Earthquake from pickup until we're level 91, so that's just not happening. Our first rival fight with May went very well since Trico doesn't have any grass moves yet. Oh, fun fact, the first Pokemon I ran into after getting the running shoes was this awesome looking shiny Poochyena. Best part is that I had a Great Ball because of Spud's pickup ability, so it was super easy to catch. I'm not usually super into shiny Pokemon, but this one looks great. While I was traveling and fighting trainers, let's take a look at the level up move list again. So you seeing what I'm seeing? Yeah, despite being a ground-type Pokemon, we learn no ground moves by level up. In fact, every move we learn is bad against Rock-type, and Hoenn has a Rock Gym Leader as a first one. So for the millionth time, it looks like I'm going to have to power level just to fight Roxanne. I predict that this could be possible at level 17 thanks to Flail, so let's aim for that. Grinding here isn't really all that bad. I was level 13 when I got here because I was diligent enough to fight all of the trainers as well as any wild Pokemon that I could, at least if I thought I could beat them. So basically I fought everything that wasn't Shroomish because of Absorb, or a Hiker because I'd absolutely lose to a handful of Geodudes right about now. If I really do need to make it to level 17, we should be fine. Eventually, we hit level 17 and learn Flail. The move gets stronger the lower our current health is, so there's actually a lot of room for interesting tactics here. Let's give Roxanne a try. First up is Geodude. Right off the bat, I get my 6 defense curls in to make it as easy as possible to survive at low health for a long time, then I get Tackling. It's not actually worth using Flail until my health is pretty low, so I'm saving power points and dealing a bit of chip damage just by sticking to Tackle early on. Being part ground type is actually nice here, since it means that we resist Rock Tomb, a move that all of our team uses. By the time I got to 17 health, I tried my first Flail, but it's clearly doing 1 damage, since Geodude has been using Defense Curl this entire time, and they resist us. Not long after, Roxanne heals Geodude nearly back to full health with a potion. Even at 3 health, it looks like our Flail was doing a maximum of 3 damage. She went down and she still had 2 more Pokemon after this Geodude. This is much harder than I was expecting it to be. Back to grinding and looking at moves. At level 25 we get Takedown, but it's not really all that strong and the recoil damage is a death sentence. At level 33 we get Rollout, mixing that with Defense Curl could probably get us an easy win, but level 33 is very far away. This will be our main combo at some point. It's pretty much Phanpy's gimmick. You Defense Curl to double Rollout's power to 60, then it keeps doubling for every hit up to 5 in a row. It requires some setup, so you'll need to survive a few hits, and you'll need a bit of luck on not missing, but it's terrifying once you get it rolling. Pun intended. At level 21, I try again since our stats are much higher now. I do my usual opening of spamming out Defense Curls and then Tackle as much as I can to whittle down her first Geodude. I actually got really lucky, getting critical hits often since they bypass stat changes. Each critical tackle saves multiple turns and is vital to survival. By the time we're down to 32 health, we critically tackle and take out the first Geodude, but our second one comes out, so it's not over yet. About 41 turns into the fight, and I run out of tackles and start using low health flails, but she keeps drowning her Geodude in potions. It's crazy just how much of a disadvantage we're at. Even with 12 health, our flail hardly hurts, and we take 2 damage every time we get hit. At 8 health, we finally critically flail to take down the second Geodude. As Nosepass comes out, we only have 8 health and we take 2 damage a turn. We critically flailed early to bring it to red health, but it ate a berry to get back up to half. Flail brings it to red health again, we drop to only 2 health, and then one last flail wins us the fight. Fun fact, I was in a call with Mystic Umbreon while I beat this battle, since we were talking about collaborative stuff, so look forward to whatever we're gonna make in the future. After that, I head straight to the fighting gym. Machop gets instantly crit by a tackle and hardly hurts us with Karate Chop, but ends up healing, so by the time we take him down, we have way lower health than I expected. For Meditite, I just went straight for Flail due to our low health, and he kept going for Focus Punch, so he never landed a hit as we spammed our moves. He used a potion, of course, but we're fine. Last is Makuhita, but Flail takes him to half health, so he heals from a berry, and Vital Throw chips away at us. Because of the berry, we couldn't get the finishing blow though, so we went down. With that failure, I decided we just need a few more levels, so I go ahead and fight a bunch of trainers on the beach of Slateport, since I had to go there next anyway. Back to the fighting gym. This time Machop still gets plenty of hits in, but we have almost double the health by the time he goes down. Meditite still never lands a hit on us because of its obsession with terrible moves like Focus Punch, and last was Makuhita. He still hits us a bit, but our critical flail was all it took to get us the victory. Now it's onto a seriously uphill battle with May. Wingul's first and instantly confuses us. Next turn its Water Gun takes out exactly a quarter of our health, but 2 tackles took it out. Grovile is next, and it instantly hit us for another quarter of our health with Absorb. We got very lucky and crit a tackle, then landed at 13 health from Absorb, so Flail was strong enough to finish it. Last was Slugma, but our now heavily powered up Flail was enough for a one-shot. I decided to go into the Electric Gym fight with super low health in hopes that I'd flail my way through and sweep them, but the strategy falls apart almost instantly when I realize that they're all faster than me. It was a good idea, but I just don't think it'll work at this level. Thankfully, there's tons of trainers around here that I can fight, so it's not that bad. I'm sure that if I beat all the trainers here, I'll be strong enough. At level 30, I try again. Voltorb is trying Roll Out on me, so I Defense Curl early to try and stay healthy since he's hardly doing anything, and his later Pokemon are more dangerous. 4 curls in and Voltorb self-destructed, probably thinking that it was his only move that could do decent damage to us, but we hardly got hurt. Electrike is next and he started using Leer, so I gave up on Defense Curl, but got paralyzed from Static the moment I tackled. He kept healing and I kept using Tackle, often with very little success. But he also is hardly hurting me, so by the time he goes down, my health is still green. Magneton is third, but he has Sonic Boom, a move that always does exactly 20 damage. Considering I do almost nothing to him, I'm doomed without Rollout. I decide to grind a bit more, just until I get to level 33 to learn Rollout. Once I get there, there's no way Watson can stop me. Finally, after quite a few attempts due to bad paralysis and confusion luck, we got this run where Rollout built up enough power to sweep through them. Gotta be honest though, I thought this part would be easier than that. I'm getting a little bit worried. Maybe this whole Rollout thing isn't as strong as I thought it would be. We have a long trek before we can fight Maxie, but he likes fire types, so my hope is that Rollout can carry us in spite of his Mightyena's Intimidate. And I was totally wrong. This fight wasn't hard, but it took 15 tries because Mightyena spams Sand Attack so hard. This was my first run where he only used it once, so despite me missing Rollout tons, we eventually managed to win. I love this Rollout strategy, but it's just too easy to shut it down. Finally, when we get to the Fire Gym, we get to see our Rollout strategy in all of its glory. As long as I get a bit of luck with hitting, one Defense Curl followed by a solid Rollout can really sweep through the team if they don't have any solid effect moves to stop me. Not only that, but the normal gym was another beautiful sweep with Defense Curl and Rollout. This time on my second try. I can't wait to see what this does to the Flying Gym. Next is the last required May fight, and this one's rough. Slugma is first, so I take the chance to get my Defense Curl, and the first Rollout is a one-shot. Lombre is next, and he stops my Rollout with a Fake Out, so I have to start a fresh one. Absorb hardly hurts us by this point though, so we are hardly hurt by the time she goes down. Last is Grovile, and Leaf Blade nearly takes us out instantly, but our Rollout has already built a bit of power, so it one-shots her. That could have been really bad. After that, we get to the Flying Gym, but this is harder than I thought it would be. Swablu is first, so I Defense Curl, as it sets up Safeguard, then we one-shot it with Rollout. Tropius is second, but Rollout has some power, so we one-shot it, but then we miss when Pelipper comes out, and he hurts us with Water Gun. It takes a couple of tries to get Rollout started again due to Protect, but eventually he went down. Skarmory is an issue since she sand attacks us right away, but 2 strong Rollouts do take it out, and last is Altaria, who opens with Dragon Dance, but our built-up Rollout hits for the win. I'm just lucky that I didn't get sand attacked more. We're at that part of the game where we have to fight the criminal team a bunch before we can make progress, first having to make our way through the Team Megma base. At the end is Maxie, but after a little struggling with Swagger, we swept through with Rollout. We also replaced Tackle with Double Edge, so we finally have a strong opening move for when Rollout won't work and our health is still high. Next is the Psychic Gym, but it's a double battle, and you're not even allowed to attempt it without a second Pokemon, so I catch a low-level Magikarp to impact the fight as little as possible. Even after a few tries, though, we keep getting crushed. We're fighting 4 fully evolved Pokemon in a mostly 2-on-1 situation, and we are hardly a higher level than them. I'm gonna need to grind a lot. Before I start, I go and make a Shell Bell at the Shoal Cave. It's a held item that lets Spud heal a little bit of health every time he deals damage. Anything to stay healthy is going to be vital from now on, especially with all the water types coming up. Grinding here is about as awful as you'd expect in this run, since the trainers here would normally pose no real threat, but they're all water types and we're ground type, so they're pretty dangerous. I try to hunt down every last trainer I can though, because I'm going to need every level we can get. The Psychic Gym Leader is just a meat grinder in these 1 Pokemon runs. Finally at level 58, I luck my way through this with an amazing run. Xatu takes Katya, the Magikarp, out instantly, and I get my defense curl in, and Claydol's Earthquake hardly hurts us. Xatu then starts a Sunny Day, giving me my turn to start my rollout. I ended up getting confused by Confuse Ray, but we finished off Xatu and Solrock came out. It has Solar Beam and Sunny Day is active, so I have to be careful. We snapped out of Confusion right away though, so our already powered up rollout was a one-shot for it, and next was a one-shot on Lunatone. Claydol's been using Earthquake this whole time, but it hardly hurts us, so by the time we actually fight it, it's a one-shot because we have a maxed out power rollout. It's worth pointing out that rollout can only go for a max of 5 turns, even if I hit every single rollout. On my way to the Archie fight, we finally get our first and only same type attack bonus move in the game, the TM for Earthquake. Right away I use it, and then use a PowerPoint max on it since we'll for sure need this for later. Archie himself wasn't much of an issue for the same reason why Maxie isn't much of an issue anymore. Swagger might be annoying, but raising my attack right before I start my rollout generally isn't a smart move. I mean, not a smart move for him, it's great for me. Next is the real threat though, the Water Gym. Love Disc is faster than us, so right away we lost runs to getting confused from its water pulses. I got both attracted and confused early, but managed to take it out. Whiscash is second, but we hit ourselves in confusion right away, ruining rollout. I'm just lucky that Whiscash just spams Amnesia and Rain Dance a bunch, rather than finishing me off. Celio ended up being a one-shot, thanks to it being part Ice type and our rollout building power, and Crawdaunt is a one-shot too, thanks to how strong rollout is at this point. Last is Kingdra, but rollout ended, so I have to start a new one. But right away he's faster and using double team, so I knew that rollout was just too risky. I switched to Earthquake for the higher accuracy and nearly take it out, but he uses a Hyper Potion and we start missing just too much to win. Eventually, he finally hits his water pulses twice to take me out easily. Considering how much damage he did with those, he could have just opened with those and I'd be doomed. A few levels later, and after coming up with a new strategy, I try again. This time I do Earthquake against Love Disc so that I can start my rollout later in hopes that I'll be able to hit Kingdra with a high-powered rollout the moment he shows up. Earthquake takes out the first 2 Pokemon fast, and I start my rollout on Celio. We ended up getting hit by a big Aurora Beam, but by the time we got to Kingdra, we have above half health, and although he goes for double team, our high-powered rollout was enough for a one-shot. With that victory, I have to beat Wally before the Elite Four. This took about 8 tries because I just kept getting paralyzed by Altaria's Dragon Breath. But after a few tries, the rollout strategy got us pretty much a clean sweep. This strategy might seem a bit boring, but on the upside, it lets us get a very weak Pokemon this far into the game without being an insane level. Speaking of insane levels though, we might need to grind. Let's take a look at our stats. The attack and health are probably good enough to get far with Earthquake and Rollout, but the special defense has me worried about Pokemon Champion Wallace since he's a water type trainer and in Gen 3 all water moves are special. His first Pokemon is Whale Lord, who will probably be faster than me and one-shot me with Water Spout, so I don't really have much of a choice. I'm gonna have to grind up about a solid 10 levels. The grind here is slow but manageable. The Pokemon here are reasonably fast to take out with Earthquake and Rollout, but the experience gain isn't really great. I decided to aim for level 75 because I think it's the lowest that I'd have a reasonable chance at Wallace with, and considering I'm going to try Steven if we can beat Wallace, I'll need to be a high level eventually anyway. Here's our stats at level 75. It's looking like we're about 10 to 15 points better in most stats, less than 10 better in our special stats, and a bunch of new health. Honestly, I just hope I'm faster than most of Wallace's team, because if we're slower, we're probably doomed. Make your guesses on if we can win or not. Let's do this. First is Dark Trainer Sydney, and this is already my 9th try. Our attack is down the whole fight thanks to him opening with Poochyena, and we get sand attacked right off the bat in this basically every single attempt. After all of his healing items, it took 3 hits of rollout just to take down Poochyena. Our 4th rollout in a row one-shot Crawdaunt, obviously, so at least we don't have to deal with a water type. And our final rollout on that roll took out Cacturne, so we skipped a grass type. Our rollout is over though, and next is Shiftry, another grass type. I was hoping Earthquake would do a little bit more, but he just used Torment, so I started a rollout. Then he started using Double Team, and my rollout missed. He got us with Swagger, so we're stronger, but also confused. It ended up powering up our Earthquake enough for a knockout, though. He probably shouldn't have done that. Last is Absol, and I hit myself trying to go for rollout. Next turn, though, I Earthquaked for a one-shot, winning the fight. Between fight, I use a full restore because items outside of battle are allowed in the rules. Second is Ghost Trainer Phoebe. I knew her Dusclops was gonna just spam Protect, so I defense curled first round, Earthquaked second, she full restored, and I hit an Earthquake again. I went for rollout, but hit myself, then missed my second rollout. I'm just lucky that Dusclops doesn't hit hard at all. My second try and rollout hit. Another Dusclops is out, and I missed rollout again just to get hit by Ice Beam. I decided to switch for Earthquake, and I got Ice Beamed again into red health. Thankfully, a few Earthquakes took it down. Believe it or not, the rest of her team after that were all one-shots with Earthquake, so we win. Third is Ice Trainer Glacia. Celio is first, and Rock is good against Ice, so I'm not too worried. I do my curl, she does her hail, and I start my rollout. Ice Ball does solid damage to us, but we take her out without too much damage. Rollout then sweeps her 2 Glalie and her other Celio, but ends at Wall Rain. I started a rollout and ended up critting her to red health. She hit an Ice Beam for almost all of our health. She full restored, rollout brought her to a sliver again, she heals again, then we take her out with all the power we've built. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drake, and it doesn't take long for me to realize that this is nearly impossible right now. Shelgon is an easy Pokemon to set up my defense curl on, and he never does any serious damage to me in any attempt, but Kingdra is faster than us and two-shots us with a 100 accuracy Surf. Considering we can't one-shot him without a crit, I'm just too weak for this fight. I have to grind more. By this point, the grind is very slow. I don't really have a choice though, when the problem that's keeping us from progressing is that we're slower than somebody who can beat us with a 100 accuracy move, luck really isn't gonna cut it anymore. The only way that I can stand a chance is if I spent a few hours and grind out more levels. At level 86, I try again and somehow I'm still slower and go down in 10 hits. This is after gaining 10 more levels. I'm actually gonna have to go grind even more. Okay, I come back at level 92. I get my curl in and one-shot Shelgon with Earthquake. I use Earthquake again for Kingdra, and at this level, it's actually a one-shot. Altaria I have to use Rollout on since she's part flying, but all she did was Dragon Dance and heal, so I built power and took her out. Flygon hung on from Rollout and hit a Flamethrower, but I didn't get burnt, so next turn I took him out just fine. Last is Salamence, so my attack is down from Intimidate, but he's part flying, so our super-powered rollout was more than enough to finish him off. Finally, it's Pokemon Champion Wallace. Wailord is out first, and I learned from my failed attempts that I have to attack with Earthquake right away, or he's gonna one-shot me with Water Spout. Water Spout does more damage the higher his health is. Anyway, Earthquake brings it to a sliver, he makes it rain and heals. I Earthquake him again, then I Defense Curl early. His Water Spout does almost nothing since he has such low health, so I roll out again to finish him. Tentacruel is second, and normally I'd Earthquake, but rollout already started, and it was enough to knock him out. Whiscash hung on from rollout in spite of all the power, but he used Amnesia, so we just finished him off next turn. Last turn of rollout, and we use that to one-shot Milotic, so at least we can't get hit by Toxic this fight. Rollout is over, and Ludicolo is out, so I start a new rollout. He uses Double Team, and I get worried, but we hit again, so he goes down. Last is Gyarados, but even with the attack drop, he's part flying type, so our stage 3 rollout takes him out and wins us the game. With that done, we are in the Hall of Fame and we win the challenge, but I have to at least try the Steven fight. Honestly, with how much I had to level up just for the Elite Four, I have my doubts about being able to beat Steven. But Earthquake is a really good move. As long as I can get past his Skarmory without getting hit by Toxic, I think I stand a chance. Obviously though, I'll need to be level 100. This takes forever, but grinding on the Elite Four themselves is likely the best way to do it at this point, since I can one-shot most of the early members of the Elite Four with Earthquake. Here's our stats at level 100. They're good, but honestly, I still think Steven will have some faster Pokemon than us, so that might spell our doom. Let's make guesses on if we can do it or not. I'm gonna say that I can probably get to Metagross, but I really doubt I can get past that. Let's do this. First is Skarmory, and it's got Toxic. If we get hit by Toxic, then the fight is already over, so I'm sure it doesn't surprise you to see that we had to try this a bunch of times. Skarmory can't get hit by Earthquake and resists Flail, so all we can really do is Defense Curl and hope Rollout will get us the win before we get hit by Toxic. Eventually, we get this run where he goes down and Aggron is next. Normally, I'd Earthquake him, but Rollout was still going, and thankfully it was just enough to take him down before his Solar Beam could one-shot us. Next is Cradily, and Rollout ended, so I had to resort to Earthquake. It did okay damage, but his Giga Drain really messed us up. He would have had too much health for me to finish off, but I luckily got a crit on my Earthquake for a knockout. Armaldo is next, so I use this as my chance to start a new Rollout. We ended up getting hit hard by Water Pulse, going all the way down to only 35 health as our Rollout took him out, healing us just a bit. Claydol's out, and when our Rollout only did half his health and damage, I thought I was doomed. But somehow his Earthquake only brought us to 20 health, so our follow-up Rollout actually knocked him out. Last is Metagross, and I thought I did well making it this far, when even with him resisting Rock type, my Rollout had gotten just exactly strong enough to knock him out in one hit. I actually beat Steven with One Phanpy. No Attract, no Double Team, but a very lucky critical Earthquake early in the fight, and Rollout not missing got me the win. I honestly didn't think I could beat Steven, let alone beating him in under 5 tries. I think it was 3 or 4. I really hope you guys liked that run. I'm thinking that for next Saturday's Pokemon Challenge, I'm going to do Pokemon Fire Red with one Onix. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, and it totally sucks. As always, though, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. If you want to see me do more challenges like this, please let me know in the comments or on Twitter. I can always use more ideas from you guys on what I should do next. Also, check out the playlist in the description to watch all the Pokemon challenges that I've already uploaded. If you guys want to see more Pokemon stuff from me, my friend Whatageek and I are doing a Gen 1 randomizer over on his channel, linked in the description. You can also watch myself, Whatageek, and Gooseit play Pokemon Stadium over here on my channel. Also, come to my Twitch TV streams and tell me that this video sent you. It's always cool to hear how you found the channel. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.